Hello, my little pretties. It's your mistress, the Queen of Lions here, and welcome back to another episode of Shadows and Pretties. So, we are now in the month of February, so I decided to go ahead and we will do a movie. Well, another movie that I not covered the topic. Now, I think I did review this movie, last year sometime before I got my laptop. So, for those who haven't seen it, I'm going to review it kind of here. But I'm also going to be talking about this because, that's what Shadows and Pretties is about. Me talking about certain movies and, the origins and something like that. So, this is episode 58. So, if you happen to be brand new here, be sure to like and comment. Oh, yeah, I'm not even ending the video yet. I'm just saying, if you guys happen to be brand new on my channel, if you're interested in learning these episodes, feel free to like, comment, subscribe because, I make brand new videos every single day. So, with that being said. Today we're going to do a review, or kind of like me talking about Charlotte's Web. Now, Charlotte's Web, this movie came out around 1973, an American animated musical drama film based on the 1952 children's book Charlotte's Web that was written by E.B. White at the time. And it was produced by Hanna-Barbera but distributed by Paramount Pictures. That's the film, and the book is about a pig named Wilbur who befriends with an intelligent spider named Charlotte who saves him from being killed. So, of course, with that said, there are a lot of great actors and great directors. So, the actors, we have Debbie Reynolds. Unfortunately, she passed away. She passed away 2016. She was the voice of Charlotte. If you guys are wondering, yeah, she's the voice of Charlotte, and she's Carrie Fisher's mother, for any of you guys who are curious. So, there is a remake to this that came out in 2006, and I'm gonna say the remake of this is basically the same. Like, it's basically the same. Like, the live action movie of Charlotte's Web from like 2006, the live action, the remake of this original movie, it's basically the same thing, except it takes more from the book than this one does. Of course, this one is based on the book, but along with the live action version, it took out a lot more from the book. So, yeah, just in case if you guys are wondering, I just thought, you know what, I would go ahead and, point that out. So, I'm not going to get into the, live action one too much, but I will talk about some differences because the plot of it is basically the same. So, and I will talk about the sequel, Charlotte's Web 2. So, yeah, with that being said. Now, it's about this young girl named Fern who prevents her father from killing a pig who is a runt of the litter, unfortunately, because, a litter of pigs have been born, and one of them is forced to face death early because of the fact that she was, Wilbur, the little pig, was just very small and weak, and he was the runt. So, yeah, I have to say, my dog is kind of the runt of the litter because he's the only dog in the litter that looks like his, dad and a bit of his mom. So, yeah, I could definitely say all the rest of my dog's puppies, all the rest of my dog's family members, like his brothers and sisters look like golden doodles, and he's the only one that looks like his dad. So that kind of, I can explain that, why he is the runt of the litter, and I would feel bad for Wilbur for being the runt of the litter. So of course, Fern decided to deal with nurturing the piglets, and John allows Fern to raise it as a pet. So she names it Wilbur and treats it like if Wilbur was a little baby, giving it food, giving it water, give it milk, make sure he's safe and sound, etc. Anyone would ever do. So of course, when Wilbur is like 6 weeks old or something, and he's being a spring pig and has matured, of course, John tells Fern that Wilbur has to be sold, where his siblings were already sold. So Fern sadly says goodbye to Wilbur as he was sold to a town down the street, her uncle Homer Zuckerman. So on Homer's farm, a goose coaxes Sewell and Wilbur to speak his words, so Wilbur eventually gets to speak there. Of course, still delayed by the new ability, Wilbur still yearns for his companionship, and he attempts to get a goose to play with him. But of course, that the goose has some eggs to hatch, and she's having her own kids. She declines the offer. So Wilbur tries to get a rat named Templeton to play with him. But Templeton's only, interest is on spying, hiding, eating. And of course, Wilbur tries to play with the lamb, but the lamb's father says that sheep cannot play with pigs because it's a matter of time before pigs are slaughtered and turned into smoked bacon and ham. Now, I could definitely understand maybe that's one of the reasons why people, go vegan is because they don't really like the fact that animals are being killed. I do feel so sorry for all the animals that had to be killed and like that. And you guys are wondering, hey, why are you still eating meat? Couldn't you go vegan? Well, I like having meat with a lot of stuff, but I just don't like the idea of killing animals for it. I know we need that to survive and stuff, and that's how farmers make money in that, but I can understand why some people decide to go vegan at times. I do have a few friends who are vegan, so if you guys are vegan, please comment down below because I would like to hear your thoughts on that. So horrified by the depressing discovery, Wilbur tries to, he basically cries himself almost asleep until Charlotte, who is the spider, who tells him to stop crying and say that she's going to save his life. So the following morning, she reveals herself to be a spider, Charlotte A. Cavatica, who is living on a web on the corner of Homer's barn overlooking Wilbur's pig pen, and tells him that she'll come up with a guaranteed plan to spare his life. So as the Gwen's goslings hatch, one of them, named Jeffrey, befriends with Wilbur, and eventually Charlotte reveals her plan to play a trick on Zuckerman, so consoles Wilbur to sleep. So, of course, with that said, Vern and Avery went to visit the same day, and when Avery tries to capture Charlotte, but it is foiled by the stench of the raw egg. So, of course, Wilbur then the next day writes some pig on the web, and of course, with Homer's friend and Lurvy sees the words, and that attracts publicly along with Homer's neighbors, who deem to be a miracle pig. So, meanwhile, the publicity eventually dies down, and after basically a hornet lands on Charlotte's web and ruins the some pig message, Charlotte then requests the barn animals to reserve a new word for him to spin. Several suggests that the goose suggests word terrific, 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 although Charlotte decides to shorten the word one terrific. So that incident becomes another media sensation, through Homer still desires to slaughter Wilbur. So the next message, Charlotte then employs Templeton to pull a word from the magazine, from the clipping dip at the dump for inspiration, which he returns with the word radiant ripped from the soapbox, which of course he spin within a few web. So doing this, Homer decides to enter Wilbur in the county fair for the summer, and that's when Charlotte reluctantly decides to accompany him, though Templeton has no interest in doing so until the goose tells him about all the food. So then later that night, Charlotte sends Templeton to the trash pile to get the word for the next message. So when he returns, with the word humble the next morning, Wilbur wakes up to find that Charlotte has spun an egg sac containing her unborn offspring, and the following afternoon, the word humble is a spin. However, Fern's brother Avery discovers that another pig named Uncle has won first prize, although the county fair staff decides to hold the celebration of honor Homer's miraculous pig and reward him with $25 and you could probably say, and a medal. So that's actually pretty something. You could really say that right now. So when he announces that Wilbur will be allowed to live in a ripe old age, he decides not to kill him. So that's the reason why he was, Homer Zuckerman was saying he was going to kill Wilbur, but after all that, he says, no, I'm not going to kill him. So, of course, Charlotte eventually says she's remained at the fair to die, so of course, Wilbur has Templeton to retrieve her egg sac for him, so she takes him to the barn, and that's how Charlotte dies, is basically she gets left behind. So once he returns to Homer's farm, he guards the egg sac through the winter, and next spring, all of Charlotte's children hatch but leave the farm, causing Wilbur to be saddened of wanting to run away. So just as he was about to do so, Aram points out that 3 of them did not fly away. Pleased by his new friends, we have Charlotte's daughters, Nellie, Joan, and Urania. As much as he loves them, they will never replace the memory of Charlotte, and that's basically the end of the movie. Now, I could definitely say the production sometime around maybe 1967. The animators were interested in purchasing the rights of the film to create Charlotte's Web. So, of course, with that being said, there was a lot of production were going on around the late 60s, early 70s, until when everything was all done and ready, and they finished doing the casting that. They finally released it during, of course, they were originally going to stay it sometime in the summer of 1972, but by September, it was released and pushed back early in 1973 as the film premiered at the Radio City Hall Music Festival in February at that time. So, of course, it was released in different places such as Japan, Australia, Sweden, Germany, and lots of other countries. It was a big success. Of course, the film was first released in VHS around 1979, followed by re-releases in the 80s and the 90s, and eventually they made it on DVD sometime in 2001, with the second film of the release was around 2006. So, with that being said, I definitely have to say Charlotte's Web 2 was a really great concept with it. So, today we are going to be going through the second one because it's a pretty interesting movie and it's a pretty decent concept. So, yeah. Now, if you guys don't like the second movie, I can respect your opinion if you don't like it. So, okay. Now, Charlotte's Web, you could definitely say the remake, the 2006 remake, basically you could say the plot is basically the same, but with different actors, different voices, different characters, and stuff like that. So you could definitely say that the remake of Charlotte's Web was just basically the same plot as the first one, except we have Dakota Fanning who is in this movie, which is pretty interesting considering that. So it's basically the same thing. The plot of it is basically the same, except it's live action. So, alright. And now we're going to go on with Charlotte's Web 2, which of course is a sequel to it. So, of course, the film centers around Wilbur, who lives on Homo Zarkman's farms, taking care of Charlotte's 3 daughters, and must save his new friend, who is a friendly black lamb named Cardigan, from getting eaten by a fox named Farley. Now, Farley was the first villain in the Charlotte's Web series, because there was no villain in, Charlotte's Web or, the first one. So, of course, the second one, they decided to include a villain. A lot of people really have to say that this one was like the downfall of the Charlotte's Web movie. So, if you really don't like the second movie, I can respect your opinion if you guys don't like it. So, I could definitely say that. So, let me get on with it. So, yeah, let's get started with it. So, basically, the plot of this, it opens springtime a year after Charlotte died with Charlotte's 3 daughters, Nellie, Arania, and Joy, are now in the stages of adolescence, with Wilbur serving as a companion and mentor. So, during the time, Wilbur befriends Cardigan, who is a newborn lamb, who looks upon down the other lambs and the younger sheep of his flock. Because he has white and black wool, all the other sheep are making fun of him just because he was different. Just kind of like reminding me of the Ugly Duckling, because, the Ugly Duckling was made fun of because of the way he looked. He looked very different. Cardigan, on the other hand, his wool was not white, but black. And it doesn't really matter what color the sheep's wool is. They are still the sheep. They're not sitting there and, becoming different or anything like that. No. So, of course, Wilbur decides to take Cardigan under his wing to show him around the farm, the ways of animal life, and the dangers to look out for, and etc. So Cardigan decides to pretend that he's a pig, even though he says, "I am a pig," when he literally isn't. So, it's kind of like Tarzan saying anything that, "Oh, I'm an ape," when he's not. So, I kind of did talk about, Tarzan 2 a little bit on my episode when I talked about Tarzan, but if you guys want to check it out, feel free to. However, only after a few weeks, Farmer Zuckerman suddenly sells Cardigan to another farmer. So, of course, Wilbur has to go with Nellie, Arania, and Joy and Templeton to go find Cardigan at another farm. So, of course, Templeton requires Wilbur to babysit his children in return of their guidance, which, of course, he agrees to do so. On the journey to visit Cardigan, however, Wilbur gets, into, certain things. Like, he gets, some branches on him, he gets some leaves, he gets covered in mud and stuff, and then he turns what seems to be, look like a wild pig, because, all the stuff that he gets dirty, it makes him look like a wild pig. So, of course, and he gets nearly hit by a truck, but of course, the others have seen the wild pig, and of course, it makes it hard Wilbur to visit Cardigan again. So, meanwhile, when he gets there, he ends up seeing that Cardigan is safe and all that, so he decides to just stay there. So as that goes on, meanwhile, an evil fox named Farley comes in and steals a hen from the barn, and Wilbur is framed for the attack then after trying to stop him. So when Farley comes back and steals Cardigan from the barn, he plans to eat him, but now Wilbur must save his friend. So he decides to trap Farley in the pig web with one of the other farmers' cows named Bessie. So Bessie helps around, and Farley in a web Of course, Nellie joined Arania spelled the word fox on the spider web. Fern arrives just in time to save Wilbur, so of course, while Farley is not even shown, it's most likely he might have got killed or something. Most likely that might have been the case because, foxes like to hunt for food and, hunters like to kill foxes. So I guess maybe that might be the case. I don't really know for sure, but that is quite a possibility. So Iranian Joy decides to stay with Carnigan, and the film ends with Wilbur having to babysit Templeton's children. So that's basically the end of the second movie. I actually found the second movie to be rather good and well made. I really do like how the concept itself was just flat out amazing. Like, it's a really good concept when it had to, be in this movie. So the songs in there are just pretty amazing, really well done, and so well amazing and really well cool. It's like flat out amazing. Like, the whole film of it itself. And I have to say the animation was pretty good, even though it's a sequel to the first movie, but of course, which was based on the novel, while it was produced by Paramount Entertainment, Universal Cartoon Studios, and Nickelodeon, and distributed by Paramount Home Entertainment, North America, of course, Universal Studios Entertainment overseas. They have all the own rights to it. So this centers, around, what happens after the first movie. So I definitely have to say the second one was actually pretty good. It wasn't perfect. Like, the second one wasn't perfect. There were maybe a few flaws with it, but I actually have to say the first movie was good. The second movie, on the other hand, I have to say was a pretty good one. Although the second one did have some flaws, it was still a pretty good movie and really well made in detail. And I especially loved how, the whole, everything just went nicely. It was flat out good. I could definitely say if you don't like the second movie, I definitely understand and I can respect your opinion if you don't like it. So, what did I actually think of the second movie? I actually found the second movie is pretty good and well made. I really do like it. It was awesome. Definitely have to say it was a pretty good movie. So, with that being the case, what did you guys all think of the second movie? Did you all like the second movie? Did you not? Did you like the first movie? Did you guys not? Also, what we have done personally to help make these movies a lot better. If you don't like the second movie, which is, Charlotte's Web 2, I could respect your opinion. If you like the first movie, I can respect your opinion. Even if you don't like it, I could still respect your opinion. So, with that being the case, I'll be seeing you all in the next video. So, with that being the case, I am going to be, I guess you could definitely say I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching my podcast. And if you're brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell. And as always, I'll be catching you all in the next video. So peace out, everyone.